Hey guys, welcome to my channel again. It's your boy Randy Ace, and
Films
today
are
we're going
filled
to be
with some of
looking
the
at
most
Hotel
notorious movie
Transylvania.
monsters of all time. Knowing this, the animators and producers have filled the third movie with a lot of dark secrets that may go right over children's heads. Watch to see these.
That's true. A lot of the characters in Hotel Transylvania, most of them have dark stories, but then they bring them all together and make it fun. Like no parent will want to tell their children the origin of the Gremlins. You understand? Or about the 13th of February. Many people don't know about that though. So let's get into the movie, and you guys are gonna learn a lot of things that have been hidden in this Hotel Transylvania, man. It's fun, it's mad fun. It's New Year. It's New Year, and here we are. Let's get it going. Alright,
These dark moments, including some surprising facts about their dangerous ocean voyage. Before you go, click subscribe. You'll join our notification squad and be the first to know
and you
new
get
Screen Rant
videos like
content.
this
Arrived at the
every
Bermuda
time.
Triangle. A cruise? The Bermuda Triangle. When dozens of monsters hop on a boat together to sail the open waters, other boats and Coast Guard crews may get a little suspicious. Instead of creating an all-out sea war, the monsters arrive to the cruise ship through a secret portal hidden within the Bermuda Triangle. The animated scenes featured a pile of shipwrecked boats, but many children will not understand the true tales of horror from the real Bermuda Triangle. Located in the tropical waters of the southern Atlantic Ocean, the real Bermuda Triangle is known for rough waters and a whole lot of mysteries. While the curse is played for laughs in HT3 and cartoons like Scooby-Doo and Rocko's Modern Life, there have been many deaths associated with the area. For example, 13 pilots and their planes completely vanished in the Bermuda Triangle during a routine training mission. After years of extensive searches, nothing was ever found. In 1918, a Navy ship named the USS Cyclops disappeared with over 300 crew members on board. The ship was never found, and all of the crew were presumed dead. It's a pretty bleak history lesson for an animated movie. Murray the Mummy. Like many animated movies, the characters you see on screen utilize famous voices to bring them to life. The whole trilogy has relied on voice actors like Adam Sandler, Selena Gomez, Kevin James, Fran Drescher, and Andy Samberg. There have also been some behind-the-scenes changes to your favorite characters, mainly Murray the Mummy. In the original Hotel Transylvania, Murray the Mummy was voiced by CeeLo Green. Following an arrest and trial based on assault allegations, Green was removed from the cast for the Hotel Transylvania sequel. Stepping in his place was comedic actor Keegan-Michael Key.
So don't even think about messing with me.
Key not only voiced Murray for the second HD movie, but he returned for the third as well.
And I'm sure he's going to continue if they should continue with the series.
Hopefully they don't pay close attention to the credits or notice the voice change between the characters. A lot of questions may arise, and explaining CeeLo Green's court case and controversial tweets are something no parent wants to go through. The replacement with Key was a great option because his lively voice and comedic timing works perfectly for the role. After appearing in 2 HT movies, we imagine he has permanently won the role of Murray if there are any planned sequels or short movies in the future.
Suits him.
The sad fate of Tinkles. Before Hotel Transylvania 3 Summer Vacation was released to the masses, the animators at Sony Animation Studios created a short titled Puppy. In the mini-movie, Dennis desperately wants a puppy, and while Mavis says no, Dracula cannot help himself and gifts Dennis with a ginormous puppy by the name of Tinkles. Tinkles is cute and cuddly and wasn't just made for the short movie. He ends up joining the whole monster family on vacation in Hotel Transylvania 3. While Tinkles is cute and fun now, the massive dog has a sad fate many fans may not realize. The first depressing thought has to do with the dog's size. Larger dogs like Great Danes and St. Bernards have a much shorter lifespan than smaller dogs. Considering their average life is around 9 years, you can only imagine how little life Tinkles has to live based on his size. Not only is his size a factor, but the vampire life plays into it as well. Mavis is over 120 years old, and Dracula has lived for hundreds of years. This means Dennis's time with the pup will only be a very, very short percentage of his life. In 100 years or so, Dennis and the bond with his puppy will simply be an afterthought, as he probably goes through pet after pet as long as Grandpa Dracula keeps supplying them.
When will you Van Helsing never learn to let go of the hay?
Dr. Van Helsing. One of the main villains in Hotel Transylvania 3 is Dr. Abraham Van Helsing. Back in the 1800s, the Doctor hunted monsters and specifically Dracula. An endless hunt that must have been exhausting for Dracula and always kept him on edge. Still, he seemed to foil Van Helsing every time until the monster hunter seemingly disappeared. Once the monsters boarded their vacation cruise ship, we learned the dark truth about Dr. Van Helsing. Despite being over 100 years old, the monster hunter was still alive and kicking, with the same vendetta he had had for so many years in the past. Van Helsing's modern design features barely any body left, as he's now powered by a mechanical body where only his head and arms remain.
Look at that
Van
dude.
Helsing actually
But he's
looked into
still alive,
a mirror,
though.
he would see his mechanical parts are not different than the creatures he loves to hunt. He spent years trying to kill monsters because they're different or have different features.
I don't know how to keep up with this shit.
Van Helsing was no different than someone like Frankenstein. Of course, if Van Helsing did realize this, then we wouldn't have had the whole movie. By slowly becoming something completely different, Van Helsing finally has an easier time accepting the monsters for who they are. But he should have done that in the first place.
Because he went through a lot. He went through a lot fighting these guys.
Gremlin Air. For every Hotel Transylvania movie that gets released, there are bound to be dozens and dozens of horror movie references. While many of the past references have focused on classic monster movies like Dracula and Frankenstein, HT3 ventured into a whole new territory with some more modern references. A lot of older HT3 viewers will find great moments stuffed into the short segment where all the monsters fly on Gremlin Air. A true horror flight, the whole airplane is run by rude, rowdy, and obnoxious gremlins who we imagine have pretty terrible Yelp reviews. The gremlins we see on screen have two dark references in horror history. The first has to do with the plane itself. A classic Twilight Zone episode entitled Terror at 20,000 Feet features William Shatner as an anxious flyer who spots a gremlin on the wing of the plane.
There's a man out there.
And now they're the pilots.
What? This short has been remade multiple times for various versions of Twilight Zone and is the main association between gremlins and flying. The design of the actual characters is based off the little monsters from the classic film Gremlins and Gremlins 2 The New Batch. Much like the critters on the plane, these gremlins wreak havoc all over town and even take over a nightclub at one point. While the real gremlins provide laughs like the ones in HT3, they also provide a number of great scares and dark moments.
You want to walk a little faster through that valley there?
Boarding the Titanic. The cruise ship Dracula and his family go on is a massive vacation liner which could rival any other ship on the ocean. The ship is incredibly tall and looks to have over 100 floors on the thing. A closer glance at the ship design and layout will seem very familiar to fans of the Titanic, adding many of the same features, colors, and ship designs.
I think the ship is bigger than the Titanic.
And they were imitating the same characters in Titanic also in that aspect. Titanic movie. While referencing and making jokes about the movie is one thing, the real Titanic is a tragic disaster where many deaths actually occurred. Departing in April of 1912, the Titanic set sail from Europe with a destination for New York City. The ship ran into major problems in the form of giant icebergs, and there were not enough lifeboats to get everyone to safety. Over 1,500 people died, including a large number of both crew members and passengers. Even though Dracula had to take on the Kraken, their ship was able to survive the open waters.
I want to meet someone.
Understood. You want to eat dim sum.
Love and hate. The big theme of Hotel Transylvania 3 was Dracula finding love once again. In the first movie, we see the sad death of his wife at the hands of angry villagers, and he has finally realized it's time to move on. While dating apps were not a success, Dracula did find love at first zing in the form of Erica, the cruise ship captain. Little does Dracula know that Erica was actually the great-granddaughter of Dr. Van Helsing, and she planned on continuing the family tradition of hunting monsters. Of course, Erica does change her mind and finds herself falling in love with Dracula unexpectedly. Like the other films in the series, this one ends happily as Dracula proposes and she accepts. But things could have ended up much darker. Apparently, there truly is a small line between love and hate. During a romantic dinner between the two, Erica was willing to murder Dracula and attempted to do so by feeding him garlic. Thankfully for Dracula, the garlic only gave him some really bad gas. But you could see her actually anticipating his death.
There's so much guacamole.
That they're madly in love just 30 minutes later. He better watch out for her in the future, because it seems like she could switch between love and hate at any moment's notice.
See you get them back at the end of the
Man, I love them fishes. This character was so great.
Even though the cruise ship the movie took place on was filled with monsters, it wasn't much different than a real cruise. There was a great selection of foods, a casino for the monsters to gamble at, and a top deck filled with swimming pools, bars, and cabanas. One of the main things that stood out on the ship were the crew members. Every crew member on the ship was a mutated fish with skinny arms and large human-like feet. Where exactly did the Van Helsing family find these fish? They obviously went under some pretty dark and creepy experiments to turn them into their appearance in the film. One of the things that make the fish fish looks so creepy is how realistic the fish head looks. While characters like
Well, many people didn't know that these fishes were owned by the Van Helsens. We just thought that they're in the crew, they are in the ship, they do the servicing and all that stuff. But then nobody ever thought, like, how did the Van Helsens get the fish to work for them? You understand? They were probably created by the Van Helsens. If he could make a mechanical image of himself, then why not the fishes, you know?
Dracula and Murray
Like,
are clearly cartoons. The fish heads are pretty realistic. Not only do they look creepy, but they appear everywhere on the ship. Forget the Kraken. These fish are the true monsters in the movie. Friday the 13th. While Hotel Transylvania movies are traditionally released around Halloween, The Crew's Vacation made the third film release ideal for right in the middle of the summer. Sony Pictures Animation also had the benefit of a Friday the 13th being held right in the middle of July. Friday the 13th is synonymous with horror movies and monster films, dating back to the Jason Voorhees Friday the 13th franchise from the 1980s.
Yeah,
today, the day is known for bad luck and fits in perfectly with the whole HT franchise. But do you know why the bad luck date was formed so many years ago? 13 has always been considered an unlucky number, but the date itself goes all the way back to the Middle Ages. Multiple stories and folklore have spread about the unlucky day, including a 1907 novel where widespread panic erupts on Wall Street. In 1307, Philip IV of France chose to arrest hundreds of people on the fateful day. Many people treated the day as extremely unlucky since this time. In today's world, Friday the 13th acts as an almost bonus Halloween. We get to enjoy horror movie marathons and movie releases like Hotel Transylvania 3.
Are they all dead?